Hey, Ursula here. I'm out with the birds. It's dusk. Been trying to get more plants put into the ground, trying to find homes for everything. Let's just take a look at what we've got. This guy here is a volunteer. It's Monarda. And my extra onions I tossed in here. There's also some sweet marjoram. It was a special kind of grass along with the celosia. They all grew like out of one cell, so I just kind of tossed them in here. It needs a topper of soil and some mulch, but it's on the back side of everything. That monster is not supposed to be here. I'm not quite sure what it is anymore. At one point I had lovage in here, but it died out. So why do I have something that looks like lovage in here? I'm not sure, because I'm not sure what this is. It could be a wild parsnip. It doesn't have much smell. We did get a couple of those strawberry planters planted, and I got, oh, that's another basil. It's going to be cold tonight. It's going down to 48. I'm trying to bring all the pots of basil inside, and I missed one. And then I have sad things that never got into the ground. This happens every year. I have way more feverfew than I had space for, and I didn't develop one of the gardens in the back where I had planned to put it. So we have a lot of extra feverfew. I've been tucking it in here and there. So that's what we got going on here. Tons of catnip yet that I need to find a home for. And some rosemary from last year. I have the orange trees out. And quite honestly, they're too heavy to bring in. So hopefully the cold doesn't damage them too far. These are onions that never got put into the ground. And more celery than I have a use for. I honestly don't go through as much celery as what decided to grow this year. Coreopsis is in full bloom. Yarrow is in full bloom. Lemon balm is Melissa officinalis is trying to take over. There's skirt in here, and then I've got some sow thistles I see need to come out. This is Weld, and that's St. John's wort. Stuff kind of comes up where it wants to, not necessarily where I put it. That's an asparagus that ferned out. An artichoke. And feral lettuce. I had a lot of volunteers this year. This looks to be a Rudbeckia. I planted some last year. I didn't think it was here. I thought it was further up, but it's here. Foxglove is almost done. Hopefully the seeds will fall and leave me more next year. The blue salvia didn't do much. I don't know if it's going to get any bigger than that. There's sow thistle in here, and there's dill. And then there's another lettuce. Looks like I got calendula coming up. I put anise hyssop down the line here. It's still tiny yet. It's not going to bloom this year. It'll bloom next year. There is no more pomegranate tree. I'm going to have to take this down. Right now the borage that's in there can hang out in there. I don't have a problem with that. Take a look on the other side. It's been a slow bit of work. We cut the currant bushes way back. There was an awful lot of deadwood, as you can see. This one's a black currant. I think on the other side of this guy, there was a red currant. I think that died out. This is a red currant. And then the birds planted one back in there. And then I planted, well, years ago I had rhubarb in here. It looks like it's coming back. And I put in a Lakota squash in here. I just literally planted the seeds, so it's not up yet. That's valerian. Hiding among this are my onions. Those will be ready soon. These are red onions. And I've been busy chopping and dropping and chopping and dropping. Just keeps going and going. We didn't get much in the way of strawberries this year. Even the new ones that I put in, not much happening with those. That'll be next year. Sagebush split in half, and half of it is gonna like crack off and die. Some of it'll stay rooted. And then I've got Monarda in here. And tons of bindweed. I've been pulling a lot of bindweed. So underneath that all, I put in a few marigolds. And there's a lot of celosia in here too. I don't know how it's gonna do up here because the soil hasn't been improved up in this section. I mean, I've got mulch down, yeah, but that doesn't make topsoil. I got another Rudbeckia came back. The one I planted was pink. This is not. Interesting. Lots of alyssum. Eventually I'll have scabiosa back here. See if I can bend over without rattling the camera too much. That's scabiosa. It's also known as a pincushion plant. I have some statice. I tucked in a feverfew over there. There's leftover columbine leaves. More coreopsis. There's a blue fescue in there. And let's take a look what's going on down below. Well, that's gonna have to go. I've got a borage coming out of the middle of a bull's blood beet. Hiding in the back corner, I have a carnation. There is a plant here. I think it was a Sweet William. This poor guy. And then we've got more St. John's wort, yarrow, St. John's wort. And again, another statice, feverfew. I think this one's also a Sweet William. I just tucked these guys in. I've got a carnation on each end and a celosia in the back. I weeded a bunch up there. What I planted up there is really dry, even though it just poured buckets yesterday. See if I can give you the splendor of the white lavender. That's neat. It has a little bit different smell than purple lavender. That beast is getting trimmed. It is going to take me multiple buckets to get it down. Well, at least to a normal size. Yeah, and stuff even grows right out of the steps. This carnation survived from last year. And in here, I don't know what happened here. But I guess that's flax that's gone to seed. I didn't think it would go to seed so quickly. I planted a perennial flax, and then there's a Queen Anne's lace that's got to get pulled out of there. More alyssum along the front. And then, of course, sedum. And the sedum that needs to be weeded. That's a different lavender. I don't know, one is French and one is English, I think. I think this one is English. Anyway, I stuck in a bunch of leftover plants in here. I don't know how this is going to work out. I just tucked in more celosia. There's an aster back in the corner. That's calendula. Comes up everywhere. And I stuck in a chamomile here. This is what the status looks like when it's in bloom. Kind of looks like a dandelion on the bottom. Makes a great dried flower. Lasts forever, really. And the other thing I've got in here are 3 bells of Ireland. They have green flowers. It's really neat. And then we ended up with 1 snapdragon reseeded itself. It's kind of cool. This is Santolina. And then, of course, the thyme is done. It bloomed and it's done. Both of them. One is just regular thyme and the other one is an orange thyme. We got more alyssum, asparagus, and a bunch of stuff that needs to be weeded back there, but there's also another feverfew. For a while, this had been the favorite spot of a garter snake. So we're just doing that. So that's kind of it for tonight. Sun's going down, and we'll do the backyard another time. There's a lot going on back here, and there's an awful lot of work to do back here. Take care, everybody. Happy gardening.